Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus, co-founder of On It with Joe Rogan. That is a great book. And when you're talking about things that you can put into your life almost in every facet of a single day, he walks through many optimization principles and tasks and things that you can plug in for hydration in the morning, for circadian rhythm, for literally everything. Less mental health and much more physical health, nutrition, diet, nootropics, all kinds of things. But the whole book, if you implemented everything, you can implement everything in that whole book in one day. It's written that way, where like there's morning time practices. There's, when your feet hit the ground after sleeping practices all the way until you lay your head back down and go to sleep. There's things throughout the day that are optimization practices that he's talking about, with going down the path of alkaline, right? Going down the path of intentionally introducing sodium, a high level of sodium with water prior to working out. If you're going to be doing a lot of cardio, there's a lot of things that he introduces that are not necessarily things that you're like, oh, damn, that's earth shattering. But it is just kind of a bringing you back to center on the things that we have come to be commonly accepted, but we don't do. They're things that are so easy for us to do if we just set intention to do them. But because they're so easy to do, they're so easy to not do just as well. So, moving for 5 minutes when you first wake up, letting the sun hit you within the first 20 minutes of you being up out of bed, you intentionally hitting the floor and walking outside and grabbing a glass of water on your way out, filtered water, on the way out. Spending 15 minutes outside doing breath work before you do anything else, before you look at a screen, before you click your watch off, before you even hit a damn alarm clock. Unplug the thing and keep moving. It's interesting because the book itself, it seems like when you add everything together, you're like, damn, this is a lot of stuff I got to do in the day. But then if you look at all the time that you waste doing all kinds of stuff that doesn't have any benefit to you, it kind of puts it into perspective that like, okay, I can do all this. It's just going to require intention. So Own the Day, Own Your Life. I believe that's the title, but Aubrey Marcus only has one book. Also has a great podcast that's all about self-help. But that book, goodness, everything from hydration to exercise to nutrition to then mindset also, and then practices of traveling to and from work, the commute, focusing on everything and nothing at the same time, taking in all things around you without hyper-focusing on one so that you have a little bit of a brain overload while also paying attention. Like it's interesting. You're going to have to read the book to, a lot of it sounds woo-woo and, this, that, and the other. But, not to somebody that's practiced it and seen the benefits of it, but for people that are more traditional medicine, more traditional fitness, health, wellness, that would rather have their greens in a powdered form than they would just eat broccoli. It's going to seem, a lot of it's going to seem goofy to you. That's okay. A lot of things seem goofy before they have massive benefit in your life. Manifestation, another thing. Not necessarily in this book. Affirmations are a little bit, but not necessarily, a center point for this book, but another thing. Looked at as goofy until it works. So,
yeah. And I think to your point, you had said something about how sometimes the suggestions can be so simple to do that they're equally as easy to ignore. As we're rattling these lists off, please know, reading these books isn't going to do shit. Taking action on what resonates and what makes sense and what is applicable to getting you toward the optimum ideal version that you see of yourself, that's going to be what does the action. So, because it's easy for somebody to get into like, basically be addicted to self-help, be addicted to learning all these things that are supposed to optimize their life, figuring out what the latest, nootropic fad is, figuring out what the latest hack is, this, that, and the third, basically try to create all these shortcuts. When it's like at the end of the day, the same amount of time in life is going to elapse. Now, how dense that time is, how rich with meaning that time is, the quality of relationships, time spent, all of that stuff is going to be unique to each individual. But I just felt it, the desire to double down on the points you made. If somebody may have missed that, they're like, look, we're rattling off some resources for you, but please know it's far better to have one thing that you maybe spend a year on, but you really commit to implementing that into your day to day and seeing the benefits from it, than to going out. Because I have been this guy in the past, and you get 10, 15 books and you're like, hell yeah, I'm finna be lit, boy. I'm finna, take my performance up here. And really you tricked yourself into feeling like you achieved something by taking that step of buying these books versus really diving through them and then taking out piece by piece what's applicable and really integrating into your life before you're so ready to sprint to the next thing before really even integrating that first part. So I just felt the need to throw that in there because I have certainly been on the side of that before.
Yeah, too many books on the shelf that you're not ever touching, and too many practices that you're reading about and telling everyone else about, but you're not doing yourself. So pick one and stick to it. And then once you have developed a habit, and you don't have to wait the 30, 60, 90 days, but when you start doing something consistently and it becomes part of your routine, look at adding something else in. Like, it's probably not a great idea for any of this to take, 14 recommendations from every single one of these books and try to implement all at the same time. You're probably going to burn yourself out because if you're not doing any of these things, well, then taking all of them from every book is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We sit here before you today, and many of the books that we're even talking about, the principles in these, we do not put into place day in, day out. We've read the books. We've implemented them in some point of our life, but we don't always stay on top of implementing them all the time.